everyone think of a situation coming up. Maybe it's a meeting where you're going to be giving a report. Maybe you're speaking for your local PTA or Rotary Club or your industry organization. Let me tell you a quick story about what you can say in the first 60 seconds that's guaranteed to get people interested. So you may know that I helped start, I was a pitch coach for Springboard Enterprises, and we've helped entrepreneurs generate 26 billion in funding. So Kathleen Callender, who is a Springboard client, came to me. She said, Sam, I got good news and I got bad news. I said, what's the good news? She said, I'm speaking in front of a room full of investors at the Paley Center in New York. I said, that's fantastic news. I said, what's the bad news? She said, I'm going at 2:30 and I only have 10 minutes. She said, you can't say anything in 10 minutes. And I said, Kathleen, you don't have 10 minutes, you have 60 seconds. So here's the 60-second opening we came up with. And I hope everyone listening is ready to take notes because we're going to unpack this. There's 3 steps to it so that wherever you go and you want people's attention, if you do this, they will give you their attention and their respect and maybe even their yes. Ready for that 60 seconds?
Okay, go.
Okay. Did you know there are 1.8 billion vaccinations given every year? Did you know up to a third of them are given with reused needles? Did you know we're spreading and perpetuating the very diseases we're trying to prevent? Imagine if there were a painless one-use needle for a fraction of the current cost. You don't have to imagine it. We're doing it, and she's off and running. Are your eyebrows up, Lauren?
Yeah. And you talk about what eyebrows up means.
You bet. Is that back to the Maui Writers Conference? Is that there was a woman who walked out of her session with tears in her eyes. I went over, I said, are you okay? She said, I just saw my dream go down the drain. And I said, what happened? She said, I put my 300-page manuscript on the table. The agent took one look at it and said, I don't have time to read all that. And he said, tell me in 60 seconds what your book is about and why someone would want to read it. She said, my mind went blank. She said, I spent 3 years writing it. I thought it was his job to sell it. And I talked with Bob Loomis, who was senior VP of Random House. And he said, Sam, we've seen thousands of proposals. We make up our mind in 60 seconds, whether something is commercially viable. And Lauren, that next day I stood in the back and I watched pitches and I could predict who was getting interest in their project without hearing a word being said based on one thing. Guess what it was?
Well, I already heard. Yeah, I did
Right.
research on you, and so I was shocked when you said it's the eyebrows. I was like, "What?" But this is so good. Go.
Just right now, everyone watching, think of what do you care about? What do you want other people to care about? Could be an idea, could be a product, could be a business, could be a service, could be some cause that you care about. You can predict in 60 seconds whether the person you're talking to cares. Just watch your eyebrows. Because if their eyebrows are crunched up, like right now, don't you feel confused?
Yeah.
Confused people don't say yes, and they don't keep listening. Now, if their eyebrows are unmoved, it means they're unmoved or they've had Botox. Now, right now, everyone just, do you feel intrigued, curious?
Yeah. And I'm listening better. I listen better when I do that. I go, oh, I am. I'm paying way more attention when my eyebrows go up.
Exactly.
So how do you do a 60-second? Like, how do you do?
So here's the 3 steps right now, because we want this to be as actionable and as not just intriguing. It's something that everyone watching can put into use about something they care about. So step 1 is that go to Google and put in what are startling statistics about blank, about the industry that you're targeting, about the demographic that you're meeting, about the problem you're solving, about the issue you're addressing, because up will come statistics even you didn't know. And one of the quickest way to get a skeptic's attention is to introduce something they don't know that they want to know. If you say, did you know this? Did you know this? Did you? And they're going, I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't know that many people were being affected. I didn't know it was getting worse. Do you see how we're asking instead of telling? We've already turned this into a dialogue instead of a monologue. In the first 10 seconds, we got the eyebrows up.
Yeah.
Now, the second step is to use the word imagine, because if people are preoccupied, they're not really paying attention. As soon as you say, imagine this, they're picturing your point. They're seeing what you're saying. Imagine this, if you could reduce that cost. Imagine if that many people didn't have to be affected. Imagine if you could do it faster. Imagine if you could do it cheaper. People are thinking, Sounds pretty good. And now the third step, you don't have to imagine it. We're doing it. Now come in with your precedents or your evidence to show it's not speculative or pie in the sky. It's a done deal. And here's the testimonial. Here's the case study. Here's the article where it says it's true. You can do that in 60 seconds. Other people are still infobesity, telling people who they are or explaining their idea, infobesity. You hit the ground running, the eyebrows are up, they're already intrigued, engaged, and they want to keep listening.
Is infobesity your word?
Yes.
That's interesting. Yeah, okay, yeah. That was good. So those are your the 3 steps. What's the hardest challenge you've ever gone through, and how did you get through it?
What a wonderful question. I think the hardest challenge I ever went through was probably my divorce. And it was a toxic divorce. And at that point, what I wanted more than anything in the world was for my sons to grow up and to be healthy individuals who had loving relationships with women, had the light on in their eyes, and they were doing work that mattered and that they were good citizens. And how I got through it is Mary Morrissey says, hold the vision, not the circumstances.
Ah,
And so that was my vision, is that we would get on the other side of this, that I would continue to act in integrity, that I would model for my sons how to be respectful to others and to hold on to that vision and belief that they would grow up to be, as I said, happy, healthy, contributing adults in loving relationships. And that's happened. It's one of the great gifts of my life.
I love that. That the origin of 52 Weeks of Hope is me interviewing a much older demographic saying, why are we here? What have you gleaned from living life? They say nobody on their deathbed wish they worked harder, made more money. What have you gleaned? And the answers are in connection with others, and it's not on a screen, it's physically being with other people. And we need community, we need to be together. And I just love that the commonality there. Do you have a message of hope you want to give?
Sure. It is Catherine Graham of the Washington Post said, to do what you love and feel that it matters, how could anything be more fun? And once again, if one of the great joys of my life is helping people get crystal clear about their contribution, because Pablo Picasso said, the purpose of life is to find your gifts. The meaning is to give them away. So I help people figure out their legacy message. What have they learned over the years? What do they want to pass along? How could they put that in a book? How could they put that in a TEDx talk? How could they put that in something that is their message in a bottle so that they are clear about their gifts, they're giving them away, and they're leading a life of ikigai, and that's a Japanese word for a reason to wake up in the morning, something to look forward to, so that on a daily basis, we're making time for who and what matters. And we're living our life purposefully in a way that we know that we're making a difference.